Hi, I'm Eleanor Hayes from Birthzang, and today I just want to talk to you a little bit about writing your birth preferences. Many people like to write birth preferences, particularly if it's their first baby, and it's a really great way to help you do research about the kind of things that are available to you during labour and birth, such as pain relief options, interventions that might be necessary, that kind of thing. And it's also a really good way for you to give details about things that you feel really strongly about to your care providers. Having said that, many people really tie themselves in knots over writing their birth preferences, or as it's often called, birth plan. And I think it can really cause difficulties later on if you get really fixated on it. I speak from personal experience when I say that I had a very traumatic birth experience. With my first baby, and actually part of the reason was because I had this big idea in my head of this very specific set of circumstances that I was going to have in my labour and birth, that kind of painted a picture of the perfect birth. And my birth didn't happen anything like that, not remotely close to it. And so afterwards, I felt very, very disappointed and really that I'd failed in achieving my birth plan. And so my philosophy now is to take quite a different approach. I think it's very helpful to write birth preferences, and note that I'm calling them preferences and not a birth plan. And I think that's very important because you cannot plan labour and birth. Every birth is unique for every mum and every baby, and just because you've had a previous experience doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have a repeat of that experience. It's really important to be able to go with the flow and be open-minded about anything that might happen. And so it's important with your birth preferences to try and use it as a kind of basic framework for communicating with your birth providers. So what are the things that you should include? I've actually done a little template for you that you can download from my website to give you a good starting point as to the kind of things to include. But my kind of key advice really is to keep it really simple. Use bullet points, keep your sentences really short, one page only, really, really short. And highlight the things that mean an important, that are really important to you. So, for example, for me, things that I felt very strongly about was delayed cord clamping with my baby. I didn't want to have an injection to deliver the placenta. I wanted to have a natural third stage. I had some views about the pain relief options that I was prepared to have and things that I really strongly wanted to avoid, and highlighting in my second birth experience the things that had happened to me in my first ones that had caused me a lot of trauma was a helpful way for me to communicate that to my midwives. It's also really helpful to include key medical information, for example, your blood type, any medical conditions that you've been experiencing during pregnancy that may be of some concern. And these will be written on your notes as well, but it's never a bad thing to highlight them. You can write your birth partner's name, for example, or if, you've got a preferred name that you prefer people to call you, then write that as well. The whole point of being comfortable in labour is feeling happy and having a good relationship with your care providers. And a birth preferences can be a good way to kind of set the scene and to tell people how you'd like to approach your labour and birth. The key thing here is you cannot plan your labour and birth. You have to be able to go with the flow, and your birth preferences should reflect that. So try not to get fixated on it, but use it as a good starting point, a good tool for researching about the things that are open to you. And make sure you talk to your birth partner about it and make sure that you're both in agreement and got good understanding about what all of the points mean. If you want any more information about this, just go over to www.birthzang.co.uk and have a little look through my blog. There's a post on there that outlines some information of things you can include and includes a template that you can copy and paste and use as much as you like. So I hope this has been helpful to you, and good luck in writing your birth preferences. Bye!